Internet? It's your boy Brando with Christopher House, and suddenly...
What suddenly? We invited him.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm here again.
Thinking of like
Matthew
what was
Kahana.
Tekken 5? That was like,
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah.
Matthew Kahana joining us again for another Otaku Remix podcast. How you doing, Matt?
Great.
Glad to have you back
Well, thanks.
in the House of Otaku Remix.
I see what you did there.
Kind of, yeah. And so we're now in spring.
Spring has sprung.
Suddenly the weather is warm.
Kind of.
The snow has melted.
Kind
the
of.
cherry blossoms, the sakura have
Let's not get out of hand now.
blossomed.
There are cherry blossoms. It is very nice.
There are, yes. But fuck all that. Go back to winter, where all the bugs are dead, and the air is clear, and the crime is low. So we want to talk about the winter season from 2019. We just want to look back as a retrospective of our experiences with the season. Some of the shows that we thought were standout, maybe some of them were less so. Just kind of reminisce about the past few months of anime. So just looking at my anime list I'm pulling up now on my cellular device, I'm just going to go down the list that they have provided. And it looks like it's best to worst. Algorithm is working strong. We're going to go ahead and start with Shield Hero. Let's talk about that real quickly.
Okay.
In a nutshell, Christopher, as you reel back into your chair, clutching your nose.
The brim of my nose, not
Yes.
my nose itself.
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
saying that Shield Hero is stinky.
But you're saying it's stinky.
It's not stinky. I just get frustrated with it, but continue.
No, tell me. What were your thoughts?
Explain.
I've only seen the pilot at this point.
So I watched the pilot, and I think I watched maybe it was episode 3 or 4.
I can.
Okay.
And so this is such an unfair
Yeah,
critique
you
of
and
the
I
show.
have an unfair critique. Matthew, you will have to be the torchbearer for the
Sure.
Shield Hero fan base. But
It is remarkably popular. I'd say it's one of the more popular new animes of the
yes,
season.
Yeah.
yes,
one of the
the
big
one of the.
And it's gonna keep. It's going on, right? It's continuing into the spring.
I'm not sure if it is, but it definitely conclude. No, it's actually
No,
like,
because
I think
I
it's
keep
done.
seeing
No, it's still going.
ads.
It's still
No,
going.
it's still going.
There's no way they ended it there.
All right, we're,
So
Maybe
yeah.
a break, but anyway.
So the only 2 episodes I watched, I walked in on episode 3 or 4, where our main protagonist, Shield Hero, brings about his slave girl,
Raphtalia.
the raccoon girl.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and she's already grown up by this point. To the kingdom, and they have a Colosseum-esque fight between
Oh yeah,
the
him
Shield
and the
Hero and the Spear Hero.
Yeah.
And so I think what I got frustrated with kind of from that episode was how everybody in the world's a dick. Everybody in the royal, at least, aspect.
It does seem
Yeah,
like from what I've
it's
seen.
a
like
corrupted
they're-
kingdom kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was just so overt that I was just kind of rolling my eyes the whole time while I was trying to be dramatic.
I mean, I guess that seems a little dramatic, but
Yeah.
it's more like they're trying to really impress upon you that this is a life in a new world, but it's not always sunshine and blossoms kind of thing.
Yeah.
So from his perspective, this world sucks,
Yes.
and he has to do what he has to do to deal with it.
And there were some
kinda
things
thing.
I enjoyed about it where it was I guess that's always a trigger for me, where it's if there's something that makes me roll my eyes, and then that comes right after a scene that I really enjoy, it tends to burn me a bit.
Okay,
It's
so the
it's like a
pacing
cute,
is
it's like
really
a
bothering
cute
you.
girl that walks up to you and then spits in your face. It's
Okay.
damn it. And this one was in particular where, because I was told the premise ahead of time, and so I knew he was kind of exiled for wrong reasons. He was wrongfully accused of rape, I believe. Correct?
Basically, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they're how dare you have this girl as a slave? We're gonna free her. And he's that's my one friend.
Right.
That's my one person.
Yeah.
And he's having this mini panic attack, and it's this really good intense moment, and they kind of just break it immediately in the scene itself, just by
I'm trying to remember.
cutting it short.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, they just end scene kind of thing?
No, it'd be great if that was the end of the episode or something like that.
Yeah.
Like cliffhanger for the next one, but it's immediately she goes to him and it's just no, it's fine, and it's you want a bit more character drama.
Cuts
But again,
the tension real
cuts
quick.
the tension
Oh,
real
okay,
quick.
okay.
And
You
again,
build it up.
this is entirely unfair. I know this going forward, but it just kind of made me it's trying to tackle it's maybe not throughout the season, but it's at moments trying to bring really interesting premises.
Yeah.
But it seems like it doesn't want to actually delve into them. It just wants to bring them up for the sake of shock value.
Matt, before you rebuttal, because I know that you're mulling it over, let me throw some more ammunition at your way. Just more shortcomings that you can possibly postulate about. And again, me and Chris, not really learned on the show, so we're really kind of leaning you on this one. For me, only seen the first episode, not a lot of context. What I understand is the culture and the reaction around Shield Hero. So hovering around hashtag anime on Insta and like fucking our anime and shit, and people talking about how it handles misogyny and like slavery poorly. And I don't know if these are just like typical anime overreactions, because there's always a controversial anime every season, it seems. Last season it was Goblin Slayer, now it's this apparently. So
I mean, I don't think this is in the same vein as Goblin
Slayer.
No,
Goblin Slayer isn't. I feel like Goblin Slayer is like blatantly using the dark, tenuous nature of rape to like court faux drama and like stakes and tension. But tell me about Shield Hero and tell me like what you would say if that's true or not.
I don't know if I'd say that slavery is used that way, really. Like, there isn't much. I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, I guess. I don't know if you guys care about that at all.
It's been 3 months.
Okay, so the thing is, they delve into the slave world really little. It's mainly just the one guy. You get, he gets rough tied from her, and he goes back to him a little bit later.
That one guy being a main character, Shield Hero.
No.
Oh,
I'm saying the one slave trader.
Oh, yeah, pardon me.
The dude with the glasses. I don't remember his name.
It's okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so like he gets rough tied from her, and then eventually later he goes back to him later, and then he gets through a gotcha game. He gets Philo, which is like, if you even
the Chocobo girl.
Oh my god!
He's just the girl.
Chocobo.
The lolly Chocobo. So that's
okay.
That's
I
another...
think that's when I turned on the anime.
Okay,
that's when I turned, because I was like, why?
Yeah. So that was it's only like those two, and maybe one more time he goes back to them.
Why does
so
it
doesn't
have
really
to,
delve into
why
it
does it
very
have
hard.
to be that he gets this young girl as a slave, this young demon girl as a slave, and then she immediately turns into like...
Okay, they explain that.
No, but I'm saying I'm not saying the reason, the world reason. I'm saying Japan. Why?
I can't defend Japan.
Why do you give this character a daughter figure for her just to become like a love interest figure?
But in the whole,
and he's not romantically.
He's never viewed
and
her as such.
That's totally
it's
fair.
One
but
way.
She is.
Yeah, it's one way.
And so why? No, I mean, like, why does it have to be this way?
I mean, from her perspective, you can understand why.
Kind of, because he's her savior.
He's literally everything to her. When they keep trying to pull her, like,
there was also that one scene I saw where it's like, and I guess it's comic, whatever. Like, again, and that's why I preface this all by saying this is like me unfairly shitting on this.
Sure.
But like, there was one scene where she's like imagining them like not hooking up, but like making out or something, and she goes like, "Don't kiss me, I'll get pregnant," and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. Like,
she's a no shit.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, it's eye rolling. And that's where I'm coming from, I guess.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to give you insight into how she thinks,
and that's
because she doesn't know pretty much anything.
So I'm sorry.
She literally, like, because to clarify the way it works, the reason she goes from what looks like an adolescent to, like, we'll say 7-8-year-old, so next thing you know, she looks like she's like 18, 22, something like that. It's literally leveling up. Literally leveling up.
Yeah.
You level up in game because he had her fight a bunch of things.
Level 99, am I gonna be like a fucking old man?
That rule only affects people of her race, half demon kind of races. So he will never have to deal with that.
Okay, and I'm sure, like, unless the show is a lot cleverer than I'm giving it credit for, I'm sure that will never come up again, because it's a contrivance. That's what I mean. The show's writing for me is a lot of contrivances. And that's where I start noticing it, and I start thinking about why the writer's doing this as opposed to what's going on in the world itself.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. What did you think of the show for the season overall?
Personally, I love this show.
Okay,
I really did. There are dry points. There are like try to be cutesy points for, I'd say, I don't know, 6 or 7 episodes. But then when it gets back into the real lore of it, it gets. And honestly, I think it's really good. And they keep reminding you, like, the point of the show is they keep reminding you, it's a new world, this world sucks dick for him. And everything, it feels like the entire world is trying to get him. But he's slowly sowing seeds and getting the people to start liking him. And then you'll find out there's a little bit of prophecy that goes on with that. And things are starting to look good. But every time things start to look good, the kingdom tries to like shut him down, and he has to struggle against that.
Where does Shield Hero kind of like rank? You don't have to give me like specificity, but like in like the season, like best thing you've seen last year or last season.
This season for me,
for Winter, yeah, just kind of like mull it over.
I would say for me top 3.
Okay.
So it's a must see.
I would say yeah.
For me, it was.
Most people would say
yeah.
For one reason or another.
It's just so different. It has its own place.
Right.
You know,
in the isekai land.
Yeah.
Because I would say it definitely falls into a somewhat
But isekai is
standard
like the most popular.
template.
We
Yeah,
talked
exactly.
about this.
Yeah.
But you know,
Okay,
more
cool.
on that later.
Maybe I will check it out another day.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just
and
saying
him-
it might be worth trying to sift through the things that are irritating you
I'll
to see if you can
latch my eyeballs into my skull. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't just roll right out.
I've endured worse. I'll say that.
We've endured much worse.
Yes. So,
Speaking of which,
Mob Psycho now. No, Mob Psycho.
How dare you?
that's when we lose all our viewers. We can
We'll
shit
get back
on
to
Shield Hero. We can shit on Mob Psycho.
Shit on the Mob. Mob is such a good boy. Another popular one from the winter season that we'll talk about. One that I don't think, besides you, Matt, that has finished. The Promised Neverland.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know this is the hype as shit. I was expecting a lot going into the season for this show because I had read a little bit of the manga going in. I had heard about the notoriety about this. I really liked how it looked production wise. I don't know which studio did it. I'm gonna find that later. But it looked clean.
Mm-hmm.
The pilot grabs you really hard for people who haven't seen the manga.
Yeah, I did see the
the
pilot, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. So I think that it's one of the best shows of the season. I've only seen about 3 episodes, but I know a little bit more beyond that.
Okay.
From reading.
Okay.
I don't think I've got the season's worth of knowledge, but even off of that premise, I'll say for myself, super big thumbs up. We'll definitely finish it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of haven't got around to it yet, but definitely in my top 3 off of like 3-4 episodes alone, and just knowledge of the series as a whole. Chris, how far did you get? And you just the pilot?
It's just the pilot, so I'm gonna kind of keep my hands off.
I
it.
feel like I can't talk. I don't want to like.
You
This is
can
a very
just-
suspense-driven show.
Don't
and you can
spoil
talk
it.
about
Yeah.
like what makes it good. You don't
Then
have to
just
talk about the
briefly
flop.
tell us impression.
Because even for those,
How did
listeners-
you feel about it?
Impression, awesome. Like this is. I think this is probably my best of the season. I think.
Okay.
That's definitely
Just because it's really suspense thriller type show.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one of those shows that once the episode, the cliffhangers are great. It's one of those really cliffhanger heavy shows, and the dynamic and it kind of like it reminds about spoiling things.
It's okay. What does it remind you of? You're trying to think of a comparative anime?
Yeah, well, not necessarily an anime, but like a style, because it's kind of one of those shows that you're like trying to put yourself in their shoes, and realize all this the issues and obstacles they have to deal with.
I've noticed that in our friendship, you've had an affinity towards mystery.
Yeah, I'm really big on mystery.
Yeah. So you like unraveling like a convoluted plot, finding the secrets that lie
Like
within.
literally, I don't know if half of if any of the people listening to this are going to understand this or have experienced this, but if anyone's ever read the Da Vinci Code, maybe.
Possibly myself, no. But go
Okay.
ahead.
So if you ever read the Da Vinci Code, it delves into a lot of cryptology and puzzles.
Yeah.
And there's something called a magic square, and they introduce magic square. It's kind of like a Sudoku, but a little bit differently.
Okay.
And like I'm the type that when I found that magic square and they showed you a piece of the puzzle, I stopped reading and did the puzzle, and then kept reading.
Okay.
So that's kind of like how I think with mystery. I'm really big on mystery.
You like it's. I feel like you like the sort of interactive element of the story. Yeah. Where you can kind of like piece together. Like you're searching through the narrative as they present it to you.
Right, and then like because this show is really even if you guys are just in the pilot, there's the 3 kids that are the smart kids. And
bestest kids.
Sure. And you want to try to be like, all right, if I'm in their shoes, what would I think about? How would I attack these issues they're going through? And then eventually, as the season goes, you figure out what they end up deciding with and choices they take and the choice and some things that you weren't expecting that they end up going with and such.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that most people have really enjoyed the suspense, the writing. It's a really fucking tight anime. Definitely super popular and with good reason. So it's a good product, and I can't wait for season 2 whenever that drops. Probably in a year.
I think that was confirmed.
Yeah, it was confirmed. Just I don't know when it was.
Yeah, when?
Okay.
God knows. But if
I'm really excited because the second season is gonna be a very different dynamic just from how the first one ended.
That's always good.
So
the way you're describing makes me think of like Attack on Titan after season 2. Like season 3 was a lot of like clever kind of like problem solving.
Yeah,
it was a lot of like political.
It's just they're dealing with whole new. It's like a new playing field.
Yeah.
You know.
So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and machine gun through a bunch that we haven't seen.
Okay.
Or maybe you've only seen an episode of.
Yeah.
So like you can give really brief assessments of them as we go through. One is Dororo. You can see the thumbnail right there. Have you seen any of it?
No, it's on my list.
Now, this is an adaptation from like it was
a remake.
Yeah, this is a remake of an old anime. The original manga is from Osamu Tezuka, the creator of Astro Boy. This guy is like, just for the two of you, he's like known as like the godfather of manga. He's a very renowned mangaka, if not the most renowned mangaka of all time.
Okay.
And this is like a new production of it. I heard nothing but good things. Again, haven't seen it. You guys haven't seen it. I recommend it just on the principle of possibly checking out. I heard that the original was fantastic, so I hear the new one's pretty good too. From people around me.
Apparently, that is one of the like Mother's Basement's good reviews. So you can check out his channel.
Yeah, I'm sure that he has positive things to say about it, if at all. Another one was the quintessential quintuplets.
Yeah, that got a lot of press from Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll was really pushing that one.
Yeah, that's a harem. Haven't seen it, but I think the concept is interesting. A harem with quintuplets, like they're basically all like, not the same girl, but you know.
I sat through that one.
I hear it's you saw it?
Yeah.
I heard it's a rather refreshing harem. I have no idea.
Refreshing is an interesting word to put.
I fucking, you know.
It's ecchi harem, you know.
Yeah. If you're into that cheesecake stuff,
dynamic is a tutor, blah blah blah. And I'm not gonna get too much into it, but I think it's funny. I think it's a little bit endearing, and then there's a little social dynamic that he goes through.
I'm looking at this one anime on the list now, and I'm astounded by how many people have mentioned it. My roommate is a cat. Has anyone seen it? Roommate is... Yeah, okay.
I have seen that.
So, tell me why
it's heartwarming.
Okay.
It's a very heartwarming, heavy show. I'm like, first off, I'm not even a cat person.
Yeah.
And I'm allergic to cats. That aside, it's one of those shows that's like, you know.
I hear it switches between the perspective of you and the cat, or the protagonist and the cat.
The writers try to give you the feels every single episode. So, if you're a feels heavy person, you should check it out.
Because I've heard astoundingly, because it looks like, not trash, but like really blasé anime. Like I see that, I'm like, okay, next. Like I'm not even interested. But I should stop doing that, especially since I do this podcast, but also because...
Oh, yeah, like a heads up for anybody listening, and if you made it this far, hey. But yeah, this spring season, we're going to like actually tackle a lot of the shows.
Yeah, we're going to try and like really dig through the trenches on this one and like kind of give you guys a more comprehensive look. And we'll have a spring preview after like we kind of like bustle through all the pilots, hopefully.
And I did a lot of it last night. So.
Yeah, so we'll definitely give that. But no, I should have really learned my lesson after Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Senpai.
Oh, yeah.
Because that thumbnail and
that's a really good example.
Title was like, fuck that. And I don't know if anyone's heard this before, but like my cousin at Thanksgiving of last year basically put me onto it. He's like, yo, you gotta watch this. And I'm like, dude, bro. Are you joking? Little did I know about my cousin's taste in anime. Nothing wrong with it. Alex, if you're listening to this for some reason, you're the shit. I love you. But no, that like this, My Room and His Cat is probably another example of don't judge a book by its cover for me. Maybe for all of you out there. So, we'll see. Going through the list, continue. That little skitty anime that I'm pointing to, Miss Ueno-san, the 11-minute with the girl who has the black hole in her skirt who really wants the guy to fuck him.
Sketch anime,
it's a sketch anime about a girl who really wants a guy to kind of like notice her, like
sexually,
a lot of sexually. It's cute. It's kind of funny. I don't know how many skits will kind
of
go by.
Very much like if you like how the Japanese tend to have more fun with like comedy aspects of like
sexuality and
stuff. This will probably be up your alley. If not, I wouldn't recommend it. Because it like we've seen a lot of embarrassing shit in this house, and like we saw one episode of this, we're like, we can't.
We can't keep watching. I think that Rob was possibly entering the room or in the room, and we're like, we can't have this new grilling us.
Like it's not like it depends on who's being offended, but like because it's just like the first episode is like she creates a device that like makes it impossible to see up her skirt.
Okay,
but her plan is for like he's a test dummy, so it's like look up my skirt until it wears out. Yeah,
so he wants her to look up. But she really wants him.
She wants him.
Excuse me. Yeah, she wants him to look up her skirt. But what she really wants is him to kind of like blush or kind of like break. and like kind of like feel some sort of way,
Yeah.
dude is straight face. He's like, he's like, all right, what's next? He's unfazed. So it does have a solid enough pilot. Really didn't go too much deeper into that because again we were questioning our social standing in the household. But yeah, if you liked it, props
for
to you.
you.
And honestly, we'll maybe go back one day.
Yeah.
Another one that we'll have a quick opinion on: Girly Air Force. So I actually went back to Girly Air Force.
Shut up.
Yes, I did.
Oh my god.
Because I needed to know. It is indeed really, really trash.
Yeah, it's
Super trash.
This
Like,
is another. My waifu is also my boat, except they're
no,
planes now.
they're not planes.
Yeah, they are.
pilot-
They're the pilots of the planes.
They're pilots. So,
but they
here's the
control
thing.
them in a way where they're basically
Yes,
the planes.
yes, that's true. That's true. Okay, that's fair.
That's what I mean.
But it's not about the girls, which is what I hate.
Okay.
It's misleading. Look at this thumbnail.
How dare
I know
you.
that you can't see this. Is
How
an audio
dare you
form.
mislead me?
Girly Air Force.
You advertised
Oh my
one
God.
trash.
You see that? Okay.
And you gave me another trash.
Yes.
How
It's
dare
all
you.
about this
This is-
total fucking cuck who like he does not about shit. He gets saved by one of the Girly Air Force girls.
Yeah.
And then wants to join the military even though his mom doesn't want him to. And then that's it. We just follow this nobody dude. This totally boring
Wait,
protag.
really?
And that's
That's interesting.
And I'm like, what the crap is this?
I feel.
I came here for fucking robot plane bitches. Like
Now,
have
this
you
is this is where the phrase "one man's trash is another man's treasure" really comes in.
Yeah, one man's trash
If you're
is another-
advertising trash, you better make sure you sell that trash in particular.
One man's trash
If
is
it's
another man's
trash
waifu.
Well, I know, but like
Yeah.
anyway.
But
Yeah.
I digress.
So
A better version of this anime, which is like not really related. If you watch Dragon Pilot,
oh, that's really cute,
Misutan or
yeah.
whatever, that is way better. Even though it's
Yeah.
not the girls pilot, it's a bunch of girls who pilot, but the dragons are the pilots, or the dragons
well,
are
the
planes.
dragons eat the person. The
Yeah,
person
yeah.
becomes the pilot.
That
of
is a
the dragon, who
fantastic
then turns into the plane.
Anime about girls who are pilots.
It's also great for random clips if your friend's like, I'm kind of getting into anime. And
oh
you're
yeah,
just
send
like
them
here.
fantastic out of context
Yes.
treasure trove.
Yeah.
But going forward, I'm not
Like,
gonna
I
go
didn't
through
know
all-
you were into vor.
Moving forward, a lot of stuff that I don't know the names of and really can't go into. Well, there's Wiz, that weird DJ. Follow up to Handshakers. We're not going to talk about that. Saw the pilot. That shit looked pretty whack.
Okay.
I know that. What do you do?
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't know.
Okay.
I
I
don't
was
know.
like, oh my god.
I saw Handshakers, but I didn't see that.
Well, and Handshakers is like the communal punching bag at this
Yeah,
point.
it is. It's.
Give him credit for following it up at least.
Yeah, it's
'cause
definitely anime. The anime fandoms.
I thought you were just gonna end with it's definitely anime.
It's definitely animation. No, I was gonna agree. It's definitely anime fandom's favorite punching bag at the moment, with good reason.
Yeah.
But someone has to soften up on sword art for the time being.
Yeah.
So, all right, back to
that's-
quality. Back to quality.
Back to quality.
Kaguya.
Okay,
Love
well this
is
is we're
War.
not blowing through Kaguya.
We are not blowing through Kaguya. No,
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
gonna
We'll
dig
come back
deep.
to that.
No, we're gonna. I don't have any other trash to really just dissect.
Well,
that
you
I
didn't
that
actually mention Sword Art, because Sword Art was also this.
Sword Art Alice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't pronounce that subtitle. Alicization.
Alicization.
Thank you, Alicization.
It's just like Alicization.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
I refuse to watch it on principle. But
Okay.
honestly, I've heard good things because
Much better.
so here's the thing.
This is also a side plot, correct?
No, it's
This is main plot.
So here's the thing
Oh.
about Alicization and then the whole Sword Art paradigm that I've heard good things about is that people like it when it's not focused on Kirito and company, and that's why I think Gun Gale Online was like
That's
extra.
the side.
I
show.
hear Gun Gale Online is complete side,
Yeah.
and I hear that's really good
Yeah.
from last
So it's,
year.
it's worth a watch, honestly.
I hear this kind of mitigates Kirito and kind of like introduces a new protagonist, the new with the
You talking about this one?
Alicization? Yeah, the new
So
protagonist.
it's
the,
him and
Kirito.
and Yu-Gi-Oh is his name.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay,
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The new character. I hear Yu-Gi-Oh! Really helps balance the show out, and it's in a good
Yeah,
direction.
it's a good dynamic between them. And
Yeah,
they're,
yeah,
like bros and
So I'm willing to maybe swallow my pride and maybe give it a look, but I haven't watched any of it. Have you?
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen the whole season.
Thoughts? Impression? Just
I
Jim?
personally, now I'm one who isn't as hard on Sword Art as some other people.
Yeah.
That being said, but I think this season was much better, more dynamic. It's a new world kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's some stuff going because as he gets into a new game for reasons,
Mhm.
and then good reasons, but reasons nonetheless.
Yeah.
And it does kind of bounce back between him in the game and then Asuna out of the game, but the majority of the show is in game
Gotcha.
and him just like
Yeah.
enveloping himself in this world, and it's a very it's cool watching him learn the new game because this game's rules are really different than some of the other ones. And then once that's established, it's interesting seeing the dynamic between him and Yu-Gi-Oh! And then doing what they have to do to eventually rescue Alice and yada yada yada.
Okay.
I don't want to like go too deep into it.
No, you don't.
But it's in my opinion, it's much. I'm not gonna. It's definitely different than like the first season because the first seasons were Sword Art got it's Nate.
It's Sword Art's cut teeth, and honestly, I was really all about Sword Art in season 1. I really thought it had a lot of. I thought it was like dot hack, but like would take it to the next level. Like conceptually, it felt like it had that potential, and then all of a sudden, it's like, fuck it. Like it cuts itself hard off at like somewhere in midpoint, like 7 or 8, and then it just goes into that whole honeymoon where like, we don't got to do Sword Art right now. That's a whole like it's a long it's a long list of conversation, but we'll get back to that one day. So back to Kaguya.
Okay.
Love is War. I see Chris on the wiki right now, punching through the facts.
I'm just looking up stuff.
Loading up ammunition. Go ahead, Chris. Give me your impression of Kaguya, because I know that we had a lot of fun watching that through the season. So.
Oh, yeah. It's probably been one of my favorites through the season. I'm just really prefer simple stories. Yeah, sketch comedy seems to be one of my favorite genres throughout anime. It's like, it lacks a lot of the lore that I kind of constantly roll my eyes at. For like shonen and stuff like that. So yeah, Kaguya, very simple premise, 2 high society characters that just... Did we go over the summary of this in a different podcast?
We don't really have to. I mean, but like in a gist, it's 2 people who go to a very 2 high schoolers who go to a very prestigious school. Shirogane isn't like really high society, but he is like high pride.
At least now, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But they go to a very prestigious high school, and they both have a crush on each other. 2 members of the student council, the president, and I guess the vice president.
Yeah.
And the premise of the sketch, of almost all the sketches, is that they want the other person to admit that they love the other person first, therefore submitting and basically becoming the beta for the
relationship.
For the remainder of their relationship.
Yeah.
Because I love the prologue for the first like 2-3 episodes where it's like, you think love is good? There are winners and losers in life. And I'm like, this is so good.
It's perfectly. I think it's great that the both of them are like part of high society, even if the president doesn't necessarily come from high society himself.
Yeah, he's a rather average human being.
But he like strives to.
He's an extraordinary,
and he is the president of like a high-end high school. Like he is very up there.
Yeah.
And so it kind of gives a unexplained reason for why they even believe that there's a power struggle in everything, because that's what they're raised to be like.
Yeah.
Or they groom themselves to be like, and it just gives a little bit of believability in this ridiculous premise, and it's so just like enjoyable throughout the entire series.
It's written wonderfully, and like the sketches, it benefits from like one of the all-time best side characters with Chika Fujiwara, who is immortalized in her memes and her gifs and that amazing dance from episode 3 outro.
So you showed that to me because like I was skipping the outro.
You were skipping outro, so I pulled them back to watch. I'm like, dude, you missed the greatest dance in all of anime.
And like I'm watching it, and I'm like, somebody died making this.
Yeah, he thought that it was this hardcore 2D animation, and
until I realized it was rotoscope.
Oh yeah, we watched that. And
oh my god, it's so good. If you've seen it on YouTube, try to get a trial subscription to Crunchyroll, because YouTube will always bring it down to 30 frames. Like it's very hard to get a 60 frame version of the dance.
Okay.
So try to get a Crunchyroll subscription or find a 60 frame.
I'll have to rewatch it
somehow.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit more appreciable there because like there's just a bunch of subtleties.
This
that are
fidelity
just, like,
too. That's just really nice.
It's like watching Elena's like poses in Street Fighter 3, where it's like there's just these little things that like that is human. That is human dancing there.
Oh, okay.
Like not drawn, and it is rotoscope, so that helps. But like,
okay.
It's really just like superb. Probably some of the best animation I've seen in a while.
It's goddamn amazing. And honestly, after watching like all these cutesy anime and or people dancing to the dance, like IRL human beings, they don't compare. This is one of those real 3D PD life, 3D greater, like less than 2D situations.
I was about to say, are you giving up on 3D women, Brandon?
Not yet. But I mean, Fujiwara is really shucking it in for for her species, I guess. No, it was a really. It's funny how the impression is just so different. There are some I've been like watching. I don't know why, but like I trained through a bunch of dance videos to find somebody. I'm like, somebody's got to really nail this. Because, I mean, a real human did this for the first time. So, like, somebody's got to be able to comparably do it. And it's like, I found, like, one, like, a Japanese dancer who did it pretty comparably. But it still just doesn't have the fun and the impact
I bet you we could get the original, and it won't, like, have the impact that you want. Because, like, it's obviously been enhanced a little bit here or there. But, like, it's fantastic. And even still, I forget about that because the show itself is... good.
Yeah,
not in spite of that, but like it's also just good on its own.
Alongside that,
I don't know. I'm a big fan of like the funny kind of. Oftentimes, team romance will be like played up for drama with a little bit of laugh on the side, and this is just all comedy, and it's just there's no tension.
It's comedy with romance on the side.
Yeah, exactly, and it just works so well.
I showed you Full Metal Panic Fumofu. Just like some of the skits from that. That is a full season of the Full Metal Panic series, the second season, which is all just rom-com skits. And this is very reminiscent of that to me, where it's like you just said, Matt, where it's like comedy with romance on the side. They really dig into that, and I think that style is like, it suits me as well. There are some dramatic moments.
Towards the end, especially when they finally start having like episodes with like a chronology.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, my favorite is there's one point where a big event happens that changes their relationship in a way. And the next episode kind of retells what happens with a newspaper image as like this is what happened, as if like big news. And Brando looked at me, he's like, wait, they published that?
I just started, I walked in, I'm like, damn, this school is savage.
But it's just for comedic effect, and it's hysterical.
What also was funny about that, just like IRL reactions, was like our friend group, like in tandem, like excited about the romantic developments. Like Alex coming in and be like, something happened finally. Like, you know, like progression. Like, they might kiss. Like, you know. Like I always find it funny when like
I guess I find it more endearing because they're not they're overly dramatic for it, but I can laugh with them as opposed to laughing at them. Which I think is a good transition to maybe our next anime of this season.
Possibly, but real quick before we do.
Okay.
Domestic.
Domestic.
Matt, do you have any concise
I was just
thoughts?
gonna say we didn't actually touch on, while they, you know, they're very debate heavy, argumentative or whatever in their skits. This game also really dives into mind games and quote meta of how they think, and which makes it so much more different. I feel like just for even, I mean, I haven't seen like Full Metal Panic and stuff like that, but just because like they're overthinking each other so ridiculously that it makes it so much funnier.
Nah, Full Metal Panic it's not them versus each other. It's like them versus like just the environment. Like things happen to them and they just kind of like deal with it as a squad. But like, this one is combative. Yeah, and
really combative. And there's the side characters in this, like the treasurer and the secretary, are awesome. It only focuses on basically four characters.
You really like the treasurer,
I really like.
Treasurer's great.
He's great.
He's the punching bag of the show,
and it's hilarious every scene with him, in my opinion.
He's
it's like four characters in this whole show, basically.
Yeah,
and they kill it.
Yeah, I love the cast for the show. It's concise, like you said.
Oh, and then OP to die for, of course.
Oh yeah.
Careful there. Careful.
I know. They might copyright us. It's so close. It sounds like the original. But all right. Another show with a banger opening. Also about romance. From winter 2019.
Oh god, fuck this earth.
Domestic Girlfriend. Everyone's favorite cocaine trash. You know it's bad, but you just can't stop. Giga 2019. Anyway, God, where do we start? So, premise for those who don't know, real quickly, Domestic Girlfriend from last year is a romance anime about a young man.
High schooler.
Yes, Natsuo, I believe is his name.
Yep. Yeah.
High schooler, second year, so I think he's 16. Has a crush on one of his young teachers. She doesn't obviously reciprocate immediately because she has a boyfriend. One day he's beset upon in a
Mixer?
Thank you, a mixer. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. And a girl there who's kind of an outsider in the mixer. She tells him like, "Hey, let's get out of here." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not really want to be here either." And she leads him back to her house. They have sex because she just wants to know what sex feels like. And he's like, "Sure," because the opening is like, "I just lost my virginity." And suddenly, his father wants to get remarried, and suddenly his new step sisters is both the random girl he had sex with and the teacher he has a crush with, and hijinks ensue. Hijinks being a rather positive word. I should really just say fucked up. Romantic defecation.
Wow.
This is another thing, and I guess maybe I saw this or heard about this premise before I watched Shield Hero, right? And this is another thing where I'm like, why? But why though?
But why not?
But no. There's always a good reason why not. Because you could be doing something else.
Okay.
That's always the reason why not.
Excuse me.
So why do we put effort into this?
I
who thought up with this, and like what is the purpose, and like what is the author's intent
it's
here?
just it's the tension. It's
just trash.
It is trash. It's trash morally. Like you don't want to be there, but like you just can't stop. It's like
look away.
It's like watching a train wreck. It's like it's a terrible thing. It's just but you just can't look away. I had the best, one of the most fun experiences watching the pilot. One of the most fun anime watching experiences because I watched it with our good friend Jeremiah, aka Meza, downstairs, literally downstairs from where we were sitting, and oh my god, Jeremiah's reaction to the twist when. Because we didn't read anything. We're like, domestic girlfriend? Fuck it. We're watching random anime from Spring.
That's a
and
funny
so,
name.
Yeah, so we're like, let's go. We're watching it, kind of, this, that. But like when the twist happens and you see that
The door opens,
and then you see he's going to be living with both of them. Because we were like, it's going to be one of them. Like we didn't think it was going to be both of them. We're like, he's going to be living with the teacher now. It's, or like the teacher is the one his dad's marrying or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then when it was both of them living in,
sisters, yeah.
Jeremiah lost his fucking mind. I thought he was gonna wake up the whole house. Like he was screaming. He's like, "No! Why are they doing like that? Why?" I was rolling. I was IRL, just like ruffling. I was like, "No!" Like it was ridiculously.
And so like I'm laughing now at that, and that's the joy I get from this. So like you can't be serious.
No,
it's like watching Maury.
Yes,
It's
literally
it's anime Maury.
It's anime Maury. It's anime Spring. Jerry Springer.
Springer.
Yeah, that's exactly what the equivalent for domestic girlfriend is. It's just watching somebody fuck up so hard and just
so
constantly
consistently
over and over.
Over and over. It's just like, oh man.
Like, how did you let it get this far, bro?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Plural? Save us. Explain to us how we don't understand.
How you don't understand?
I
mean, it's drama at its finest.
Oh no, I'm just
at its finest.
Yeah,
I'm teasing
it's
you.
fine.
I'm teasing you
Jesus
for
Christ.
Shield Hero, but
I'm gonna quit anime right
now. Like you said, it's
go
trash,
off to
but it's
space like
such,
Pooh Bear.
it's
Yeah,
such
I know,
a
right?
good. It's such a different ride.
Yeah.
Than,
Oh yeah, you
know.
can never expect what's to come.
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
Did
it really
I
does
expect
keep
to
you
see
guessing
somebody
really
to see a girl rubbing herself off? No.
Yeah.
But I got that. And
it pushed a lot of boundaries.
it did.
Yeah.
It wasn't afraid to like really show like the sexual side of it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't quote unquote different for me. To me, this is very reminiscent of an anime I was talking to Chris about called School Days.
Oh, I told you about that. When you guys pitched the plot to me, that's the first anime I said.
So this is to me just School Days 2.0.
Yeah.
Like better produced, less murdery.
Yeah.
School Days. And because I got the same kind of reaction, except this was in the weirdest, trashiest way written better than School Days. Because like that guy is much more morally. Like in School Days, the protagonist whose name I can't remember is much more morally in the wrong. Like he's just like, fuck my nice girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fuck this other girl now, and then now fuck everybody and potentially get AIDS and all this other
and you don't give
hoo-ha.
a crap.
And he just
Did they bring that up? In the show?
It's like and like it's just like it's a really
you feel bad after watching that.
you need a shower. It's like that's a weird dark harem. But domestic, I also feel like I need a shower afterwards. But like
I'm cringing more of the time.
Yeah. I don't feel entirely dirty.
Yeah, because it's like they're never trying to I actually don't know. Like my one biggest problem with domestic, outside of like the initial premise, but once you get past that, it's like, okay, we're along for this ride.
There's a weirdly empathetic side to it.
Yeah, and it's like I never really empathize with the main character.
It's not him you're empathizing with; it's the sisters.
Are you?
Don't you?
Like,
It's only God. It's,
no, but like okay, that's interesting. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe empathy is the wrong word. I can correlate their logic. Like I can understand how you got to the decision you made, but I understand where you're coming from. Where I don't empathize with the teacher because she should have been way more responsible about this, and she's just clearly very like prone to her like I don't know emotions, but like her impulses. I want to say
urges
perhaps.
are too strong.
Yeah, her urges.
Yeah.
She seems to be very. I mean, that's also with her kind of free spirited nature. She's very like leap before you look kind of character.
Yeah.
And then you have the younger sister Rui. Thank you, Rui.
Yeah.
Who is so detached to the point of her detriment, where she's like literally fucking dudes without just for the thought of it. And then by the end, she's like, maybe I'll try love. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then you have the main protagonist who just like, I'm going to get what I want
from everybody.
From
But it's not like he's really, except for
he's not like a
teacher.
scumbag the way.
Yeah, he's not
in
like
terms
chasing
of like school
really.
days.
He's only chasing the teacher. He's not chasing Rui at all.
Oh, I get that, but at the same time, it's like it's one of these things where it's like you're watching characters like act and like make decisions, and it's like, God, nobody has like forward thinking. Everybody is so impulsive. Aside from like the one time he doesn't hook up with the girl who cuts herself.
I was gonna say,
aside from that one time, and that's where it's like that's the midpoint of the anime, and like you're like maybe he's developing, and maybe he's learning that actions have consequences, and he shouldn't just fuck people just because he wants to fuck people or because he's feeling bad one day.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then it's just like, and then it's like Rui's like, hey, let's like make out or whatever, and he's like, oh, I feel bad because the teacher didn't like me, so fuck it, I guess. And so it kind of like devolves again into that trash.
I can sort of empathize with that mental state. Like when you're in a dark place, you just want anything to kind of punch the feeling away. So you lean into that. But at the same time,
it's not. It doesn't make it less frustrating to watch, though.
No, it does not. No.
At least for me,
it's an understandable.
Like I always want a protagonist that's always like improving themselves, or they need a really good reason to like be in a bad like way, and then the following episode.
It's not like he has trauma or anything.
Yeah, it's like the trauma's like, oh no, she still doesn't like me, despite the fact that she told me she doesn't like me, and it's just like,
and, it's not like morally wrong.
He comes off as like a guy who gets everything he wants, and even when like consequences happen, they don't like really.
They don't happen hard enough.
Like,
so it's not he's stubborn.
He's stubborn, and he just gets what he wants.
Yeah,
and
that whole
like,
gets what he wants thing. Like you
very...
definitely feel by the end he got away with murder. Like he got.
Oh my God.
He gets away with everything. He gets he got to have his sort of pseudo relationship with the teacher, and then he gets Rui as a consolation prize. Like she still wants him, and she's like, I don't care that you my sister. Like you can still have me.
I don't get what she's thinking and why. I don't understand why she even likes him.
Right, and so it comes off as like I could see it as like a puppy love sort of thing of like so the reason why she even fucks him in the first place is because it's like I hate that adults look down on me because I haven't had sex yet. I want to just have sex so that I can say I've had sex. And she doesn't understand that comes with emotional baggage.
Yeah,
and that's like kind of acceptable, fine. And it's like there's nobody there to help her with that.
Yeah,
at all.
And she's like
the guy, the protagonist who like should know that because he's given in that relationship to be like the kind of more mature of the two, like just kind of blows over that and is like, I get that you're feeling these things, but I don't. I'll still use you.
Yeah,
but I don't. I'm still gonna go for your sister. It's fucked.
The same way.
It's like watching an abusive relationship.
Yeah. Okay. Oof. The same way he kisses...
emotionally abusive. There's no actual physical violence here.
Yeah. The same way he kisses Rui later is the same reason why he has sex with Rui in the first place. Because he's down about the teacher, oh, I'm not going to get her, and stuff like that. So he's kind of, not in a dark place, but like kind of in a down place. So he just like...
And you get it. He makes that mistake once, and that's like the premise of the show. It's like he makes that quote-unquote mistake. And also has consequences that he doesn't foresee. Okay, fine. You have to deal with that consequence going forward now. But it's like he never learns his lesson.
Rui's a weird character, like the way you describe her. And it's like, I mean, how she is in general. And the way her sister describes her is like, I'm jealous of Rui's freedom. Like the way that she just does what she wants and goes after the things she wants to do.
It's because the teacher is in this constant state of wanting to be. The teacher wants to be younger and have the romance that she wanted when she was a kid.
That's true.
That's exactly what she wants, and that's what she's jealous of, like at a subconscious level. Of Rui.
Big facts.
And like it's not like overtly stated, which is actually nice. That is one thing I like about the show, is that like the relationships are not always overtly put it out there. It's like, oh, this makes sense if you think about it a little bit. So that's what she's jealous about in Rui, and I guess you could say Rui's a little jealous about her sister in that aspect when you think about how she wants to be considered mature, because she's the younger sister of the two. Yeah. But you don't see their dynamic. Like, you don't see them interact very much in this show. It's only a few you have to take their word for it in that aspect. So yeah, there's that. I don't know. I also don't like that when the teacher and the protagonist get found out about their relationship, they just like Catholic Church that shit. Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't
don't ask.
Don't ask.
I wasn't expecting that to go the way it went. I didn't expect her to cave so easily, honestly. I thought she was going to fight.
So so this brings up a good
place. It is the smarter thing to do.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But like, I like my karmic justice.
You like your what?
I like my karmic justice.
Okay.
And I think like, if that got found out, and maybe this is double standards, who fucking knows? But like, if that got found out, that teacher would be fired, and she'd be plastered all over the news.
And she wouldn't get another job, pretty much forever.
Yeah, exactly. Probably. But instead, they're like, no, we'll give you a second chance. Just go away.
I don't care.
Change your hair.
I don't care.
Does she have Rui's hair?
She has a shorter haircut.
She has a shorter
haircut.
Like a bob cut. A bob cut, okay.
I don't care about the karmic justice.
Oh my god, and I forgot about Rui having the fucking wig.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll get back to that. Yeah. But I don't care about the karmic justice. I care about the crash. I care about
you want to see them burn.
I want to see the ending really punch it to the end, and that's what I wanted to get into. How this ended. We can go back to maybe how Kaguya ended too a little bit, and Kaguya has a lot more cushion.
Kaguya is sketch anime, so the fact that it ended in I know you're gonna say like an anticlimactic factor.
No. It lands rather expectedly.
It lands on its feet, but it doesn't do it like a 360 before it lands on its feet.
I think
it just like lands on its feet.
The comparison I wanted to make was that I think both of them had room to be a little bit more quote unquote like maybe theatrical, bombastic at the end, really kind of punch it home harder. Kaguya has a lot more.
Kaguya didn't require that.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Kaguya has a lot more leeway, a lot more parachuting room for this.
It's the student that did like A's throughout the semester, and on their final they got a B. And it's like, that's fine.
Exactly.
You did so well throughout the beginning. The fact that it wasn't like the best at the end is fine. I still think of you fondly. Domestic needed to fucking cram and study for this final. Yeah. They fucking played video games all night before that.
Yeah. So, Kaguya ends on just like another. It has a really fun emotional climax, and then just like a fun skit to run to land it out. Yeah. Like with the fireworks, and then right into like just another final battle, which is it's fun. Domestic with all this dramatic tension and like the cliffhangers, like they're about to get found out. Finally, all the social and moral implications are going to hit the fan, and it's like the final episode is literally everything resolving in the best possible way for literally every character. It is oddly the most fairy tale ending for the story because the teacher, besides the teacher, but still very good for the teacher, she doesn't get persecuted. She doesn't get persecuted.
Prosecuted.
She gets
persecuted or prosecuted.
Prosecuted. Right. She gets to leave, go to another school, have her job, not really have to deal with the social implications of what she did.
More professionally, start anew, which is what she needed.
Exactly, like really just get her head out of that gutter. The main character Natsuo, he wins a writing award from the trauma. Like he channels it positively and then finds a way to make a book out of it. So he gets to really pursue his novelist career. Gets an agent, and then on top of that, he gets the girl. Rui gets what she wants, where she gets to have Natsuo all to herself at all times, and he's like, well, I guess I'm down to fuck as always. So it was just kind of it was this barreling train, and then it just kind of landed. You see it coming towards the stop, like towards like a dead end, and it makes the stop very cleanly, and it's like, wow, I thought this was gonna blow up.
And you know what it is, because I'm thinking about it right now, and it's like if maybe like 75% through the season, the two had already started a relationship. The teacher and the student had already started a relationship, and they get found out. And then the last 25% is the fallout, and the fallout is them recovering and then them landing on their feet. That would have been acceptable it's the fact that the fairy tale ending feels undeserved at the end that feels frustrating.
Yeah, like
because it's not a bad message for like you have like for a person to for a work of fiction to say the message is that people mess up, but if you know to learn from your experience and to make something positive of it, things can work out in the end. Yeah. That's not a bad message. The problem is that it doesn't set itself up to be that. It sets itself up to be trash, like B tier level, like immoral kind of skeezy plot line.
I think what you're alluding to, like with the potential for like what the theme and the message could have been.
Yeah.
I think it would have been really smart because it kind of just leaves you with this sort of rather vaporous, bittersweet taste where it could have really, like you said, gone into like a heavy fallout episode where like everything does hit the fan. Yeah. We get that kind of emotional and plot climax that we're looking for, and then they hit true rock bottom, and then they kind of bounce back to like a sort of cathartic ending where it's like, even though they really did fuck up and you knew they were fucking up the whole time, they found there is a little grain of hope, like the little bud that kind of comes out of a wildfire. Like it's just like there's a little some hope.
Like imagine if Infinity War and Endgame were the same movie. How unsatisfying that would be.
Yeah,
the loss and the comeback at the same time.
You're saying that without knowing what actually has happened in Endgame. But
yeah, we're saying
moving. Well, like you get what's going to happen.
Do you?
Probably.
Whatever. I'm sorry.
Endgame comes out in 2 weeks as of this recording.
We don't know what happens in Endgame. I'm sorry. There's nothing being spoiled.
But yeah, so that was so the last anime I haven't mentioned that I kind of half mentioned that I have not seen, that I've heard nothing but amazing things, and I know it's amazing because I'm in the first season, but still, Mob Psycho 100 season 2. I know that you both are cramming through it right now.
Oh, I finished it. I'm done.
Okay.
And I saw the last episode.
Okay. So you were done
like that. No, I was at a friend's place and he was fucked up on pain meds and he was like, "I want to watch it." And I was like, "Okay, I can't leave you be."
Oh wait, you didn't get any in the middle? Oh, okay.
Damn.
I saw like the first. I saw up to his fight with the blonde guy that he turns bald.
Oh, you're talking in the first season?
First season.
Oh, geez.
And then...
the end of the second season?
Wow.
Wow. Here's the thing. So, like, I kind of mentioned it when we were literally just talking about Endgame. I'm not a guy who gets upset about spoilers. Not that I gave...
polar opposite.
Not that I gave spoilers, by the way, for Endgame, because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but
sure.
The point being is that, like, I like things to have, like, thematic reasoning, and I like to know what the author's intent is behind things. So if I know what's going to happen going in, that doesn't matter to me as much because it's how they execute it that's more important. So, like...
I have a lot of friends that are like that, too. I'm more like Matt, though.
By the way, that makes me a pompous asshole, so I already know this.
But I know a lot of pompous assholes, but... No, I'm more like that, where I feel like if I know the ending and it's like leading, and I can kind of connect where the plot is rolling, it definitely starts to dilute the dramatic tension because I already know where kind of it all routes.
Yeah,
like, I like,
and I think
the unexpected
it
nature.
Also might be a defensive thing where it's like I was starting to guess where a lot of plots were going and things that I was watching, and that kind of bothered me, so I just kind of enjoyed it in a different way. But anyway,
that's true.
So I don't mind that I saw the ending of Mob Psycho. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Fair enough.
And I will eventually watch it because I did enjoy the ending quite a bit.
Yeah.
In spite not noting all the context.
Okay.
But Plural, what did you think of season 2 of Mob Psycho?
So compared to season 1, they really delved into I'm forgetting his name right now.
Mob?
Yeah, what's his actual name? Kageyama, I think?
We can just call him Mob.
Just call him Mob.
Pretty sure it's Kageyama.
Call him Mob.
Anyway, so they really dive into Mob's mindset. He starts in the first season, for however much you guys have seen, he's very monotone. He doesn't show a lot of emotions. He keeps his emotions in check. And like in most anime, psychic powers tend to have your emotions have influence on them, which is very common. In the same thing in this anime. And in the first season, he doesn't really think about. He doesn't have any foresight. He doesn't think about why people are doing things they do. He's just reacting. Where in this season, his mind starts to develop a little more. He starts to realize, oh, what's his name? Reagan. He's like, oh, Reagan maybe is lying to me half the time, and I just wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah.
And he starts to realize that Reagan's lying, not just him, but everyone. People are having motives that he's never been paying attention to, and it really changes his world. And this season really focuses on that and how he's growing as a person. So.
That's good. Yeah, I think that's really
it had a
promising.
whole different tone.
Yeah, because it definitely shows progression of the character.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm scared about as far as watching One Punch Man season 2, which we've seen the beginning episode, the pilot episode, because One Punch Man is like a really static character.
It's literally a one punch joke.
Exactly, yeah. And I love One Punch Man, and I'm looking forward to the remainder of season 2, and I'm crossing my fingers that the animation is up to par and all that hoo-ha. But like from a plot point, One Punch can get pretty stale because the gimmick is kind of there, and
it's
like
designed that way.
Yeah, and I don't think that One Punch as a character, Saitama needs to evolve.
It's
too
a
much.
world that needs to evolve around
The
him.
world needs to evolve in a fun way around him, and I don't think that Genos and everybody else are really doing too much. Like, there's definitely contrivances and like new interesting complications to the world that are happening, and like the whole plot with the prophecy seems interesting. But back to Mob's development naturally into like a more what sounds like emotional character, self-aware character, and a more controlled character, taking more of an active role in the plot sounds really cool. And I'm looking forward to the remainder of what I have seen, and obviously the remainder of season 2 when I get to it.
Yeah, not only that, another thing that this, not really spoilery, but another thing that this season does, it pushes Mob's limits. In the first season, he kind of just steamrolls through pretty much everyone. He hits a bunch of walls in the season.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's like maybe we like spend a few minutes on this topic discussion, but like because both original manga are written by the same author, correct?
Yes.
And but it shows through their like comedy and their art style. But it's interesting that Mob is a character focused series. Like it's focused on Mob and like maybe a couple of the side characters around
Reagan,
him.
his brother.
But the story is in place to show his character growth. Whereas, like we just mentioned with One Punch Man, it's kind of the opposite, and I think it's much harder to write that kind of story and make it interesting because you tend to have to write for a bunch of different characters and how they all react to like we've seen a good example is like we've seen a million Oscar movies that are like about a person overcoming something. Yeah. Whereas there's maybe like one about a world like a world changing incident and how a bunch of characters react to it, and that's Crash, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay. It's very like there's not a lot of research that's gone into the narrative structure of like a cataclysmic event happening to a bunch of people, as opposed to one person going through a traumatic or important event. I don't know if you guys can think of any, but
I mean, I feel like almost any apocalypse movie kind of does that. Though.
That's fair, actually.
Yeah.
But even then, a lot of the times, like even Last of Us, it's like character development. Yeah. You know, it's centered around the one character, and like everybody else is just kind of like set pieces for them to either learn from or.
So you're saying like characters adapting to the world?
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like with One Punch Man, it's like what's interesting is how people react to Saitama appearing and like changing their perceptions on things, or how they fight to keep the status quo despite Saitama being this like this obvious like change in the way things work.
And we'll probably have continued conversation about One Punch as we do with that spring anime kind of look forward podcast in the near future. But any final thoughts probably about the overall winter season? What was your experience with it? Like, what do you think was like
one thing I do want to say, we never even talked about Slime.
We didn't talk about a lot of continuing series because we didn't talk about JoJo either, and I know
I feel like
of you
Slime was a really big one.
Slime was huge, and thank you for reminding me because I think it's oh my god, there's 3 we forgot. So really quickly, and it's a shame, but let's just do it really quickly. Slime. That for that time reincarnated, like Slime did start in fall technically.
Right, like you said, yeah.
It's also another one that started in fall. Run with the Wind.
Oh shit!
Wow, these two are like
ready
to prostrate.
And of course, Hidamaru.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
So these 4 then.
That was 3.
That's 3
because JoJo as well.
Oh, I don't care about JoJo. I've never seen JoJo. I literally was watching JoJo last night. I love JoJo. But
fuck this, I'm leaving.
But we're not gonna talk about JoJo. JoJo Gold, JoJo the 5th series, Fighting Gold. That song is shit. Series looks awesome. Definitely gonna get to that. I know that you're enjoying the shit out of it right now, Chris. He's literally pouting.
He looks defeated.
He's going full tsundere over there. Anyway, wow, he's literally turning away.
Oh man. Okay.
All right, fuck him. Anyway, plural. Slime. I didn't finish it. I'm still in the middle of the kids part of the season. But
you're pretty close.
Yeah, I know. I'm near the ending. But Slime, really fun. Mm-hmm. I think it's literally probably the best isekai that I've seen, possibly.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion, just in the matter of like how quickly the plot hits the ground running, how funny the comedy is, how dark it can be at times.
Yeah.
I know that Chris Saul.
It really jumps back and forth.
Like the wolf dude get his head cut off near the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched the first couple and it was cute.
Yeah, you remember when the guy got his head cut off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff was awesome.
Stuff was radical.
And it's funny because like he was literally just talking about this topic. This is a case of someone jumping into a new world and adapting to the world. So that's literally what happens.
But is he adapting to the world, or is the world?
He's adapting to the world.
He adapts very well.
That's
to
not
the
what I was
world.
saying. I was saying the world, the rest of the cast has to adapt to him.
So this is the other dynamic.
But it's fine. It's fine. It's still an interesting premise.
Yeah. I'm really fond of Slime. Characters fun. Incredible side cast. Like, I think it's really colorful. It's really interesting progression. How like he's developing a society. Like, like the presence of the main character literally grows to massive degree, and it like really shows how a character with that kind of power.
Yeah, he's like connected to kingdoms and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and like at first I thought they were gonna make this is gonna be the city of monsters, because it's like first it's him, and then it's goblins, and then it's the ogres, and then. But then he connects with the dwarves, and now he's starting to get relationships with humans, and like so it's not just the monsters that he is working with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy that, and I think Chris, you'd like it too if it wants you like kind of put proper time into it, because like I know how you like how characters progress and grow and like kind of learn. Like he's definitely, I think that main.
He's very clever. Like it seems like the premise is somewhat like a more less sarcastic tone of like Konosuba, where it's like you have this very clever character like kind of gaming the system in a way.
Yeah, no, he knows what
he min-maxes.
He min-maxes, he tests his power. He's very cheeky. He's very amoral. Very, very good human being. And but still kind of slightly perverted just to have that like small character flaw. But like other than that, it's pretty fun character progression and overall just growth of a character from a very simple slime. Mm-hmm. So big ups to that show. Love that.
Yeah, and it's also because at first you think when he starts getting powers and all this stuff, he starts getting really strong, and you're like, oh, this is gonna this. At first I was like, oh, I hope this isn't like One Punch Man, because it feels like he's dominating everyone he fights. But then he runs into a wall, and then there are some people that he can't get through, and he has to deal with that. You know, and then
I agree. Yeah.
He has to figure out how to deal with this.
For a time, he was retardedly powerful, and
he
then
was
finally
wrecking everyone he saw.
Eventually, when demon lords and like literally like cataclysmic events start showing up, that's when he starts like
he's like, oh. All right, what do I do now?
Yeah. So those are fun. And so it's not just a free reign for a while. At first it seems like that, but then it does rein itself in. Yeah. So that's definitely useful. And then it also gives him troubles in like social environments. Yeah. Things that his powers literally can't solve just on their own. So it's fun. Raising the kids for one. Yeah. Yeah. Being clever with that, with his mind, shows like another side to the character Rimuru. I should say his name. Yeah. But yeah, on the other side, another anime, Hidemaru Sumo. You were mentioning it earlier when we were kind of just doing like a cold conversation before this. I really like it, but I like it for like the most base instinct reasons inside my weeb heart. Okay. Why do you like it?
All right. This so I'm not for someone who's versed in sumo at all. Yeah. And then I just on a whim checked it out, and this every time I've watched an episode of this show, it blows me away. Like I feel like the characters are endearing. It really focuses on their growth, on them bettering themselves, and also the show is just really exciting. The matches are really exciting. So it's so simple, because like sumo matches can end super fast, because I didn't know the rules of it. Eventually it clearly defines all that for you, and I just think I guess you'd call it a sports anime, team sports anime.
It's retarded. It's super sports anime. That's why I'm like at a base level.
I don't know if you consider it team sports. I know technically they're a team, but they kind of fight 1v1. So
it's a 1v1, but yeah, they form it into a team. There is a sumo team. There's sumo teams of high school sumo wrestlers, and it definitely tries to pull in that element, that attractiveness. For
tournament style sports anime.
Everyone loves tournament arcs.
Yeah, very very fun anime. And while they keep making, at first you're like, all right, this guy Hidemaru, he's like, he's like the top tier. He's like busting everyone, and then he hits multiple walls.
Yeah.
That he has to figure out how to deal with that.
I really enjoy Hidamaru. It has the perfect underdog story for like sports anime are built for underdogs and the determination and all the shonen tropes. And he's he's an undersized sumo wrestler. Mm-hmm. He's short. He's light.
He's too short to be even qualified for a pro.
Exactly. So
that's part of his goal.
His dream is because since he is too small, the only way he can get in is to become a high school yokozuna, or like basically a high school national champ, like the king of high school. Mm-hmm. And he gets it in a sort of roundabout way, kind of like gets to his goal, not through high school yokozuna, spoiler kind of sort of, but yeah, it's perfectly designed. I think the side characters are fun. The fights, like you said, are really exciting. Mm-hmm. They really kind of min-max the animation. It's sometimes you can kind of like, if you pay attention, they do kind of
the one episode I saw was like a lot of cheating.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of cheating going on where it's like
close-ups where there should be a bit more like
there's a lot of close-ups and monologuing, and that's the standard sports fare where it's where they're kind of hamming it up for like
exactly. And like I was gonna say like the one I did see didn't impress me all that much just because of that. Like I'm sure it's probably better if you start at the beginning and like get caught up in what the characters are, because the animation itself is not gonna blow you away every time. At least
they have short bursts of good animation. That's what I'm saying. Like they min-max, they definitely wait, they definitely try to use what time they can with the hamming up, with the monologuing and like all that stuff. And then when the actual action hits and like they have to do the actual sumo move, then it kind of like they throw it into those small moments smartly, of course, because everything's got a budget. So,
but that's not what you guys kind of fondly remember about it.
No, it's the emotionality of those moments. Yeah, exactly. So, Hidamaru Sumo, definitely solid. Definitely 6-7 out of 10 for me. Probably closer to 7 for you as well. Like the way you described the discovery.
I mean, I liked it a little more. I'd say a 7. I give it like probably an 8.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say for you, same thing for me in the way of discovering sumo was probably the best part about it. Like the novelty and like the learning about the culture and the techniques of sumo is really fun, oddly. And like that definitely captured my imagination, because I've seen all sorts of stupid sports anime. I've seen girls in tanks. I've seen dudes free running. I've seen fucking like girls in spacesuits playing space like racing. It's like
probably seen Keijo.
Yes, I've seen Keijo. Butt wrestling, that's legit. Yeah. And butt wrestling school. It's like all sorts of convoluted sport. So I'm willing to accept all that stuff, but like I still haven't taken the time to just learn. And but even with all that crap, sumo is still novel.
Yeah.
Like that's been around for like
I think it helps
years.
that it has like an actual real world, not application, but a real world like context to it.
Yeah.
Like Keijo, I'm sorry, is as cool as like absurd as that anime is, there's that's the novelty and that's the interest behind it. It's like
this is the weirdest thing.
They know what they're doing when they have somebody like Dio time stop in the first episode. They know what they're doing.
I appreciate that though. Like the over the topness, it depends on where you want to use it, because
right. And that's what I mean. I'm differentiating it from the sumo anime where it's like there's something to be appreciated in a sport that actually exists.
I can see that. Yeah. It kind of pseudo grounds it.
Yes.
Because like it still hams itself up, but like it definitely has a little bit more of a humanistic nature to it that I can kind of latch onto.
Yeah.
But, and last but not least, possibly favorite sport anime of all time, Run with the Wind. My favorite sport anime is either Kuroko no Basque, so Kuroko's basketball, Haikyuu, but possibly this. All of these are animated by the same studio, Production IG. So really quickly, thoughts, feelings, go, plural.
This season especially, because they actually get to the race, the feels are heavy. The feels are really heavy in this show.
Yes.
And the development of each character, awesome. The teamwork and everyone striving to catch up to their ace. I can't think of his name.
The pro tag.
Anyway.
But the struggle is like the main draw of the.
Yeah. It's because they're a ragtag group. It's like they basically have two guys who were real runners. Their guy that they recruit, the protagonist is. He's a runner. He's always ran. Then the guy who's getting the team together, he was a runner. He hurt his leg to the point he had surgery on his knee. So then he's really struggling. He takes more of a coaching role, but he also runs with them. And then everyone else either barely ran before or has never run before. And it's 10 of them doing like I don't know how many Ks. Like each of them doing a 5K as part of like a team relay race. It's like insane.
In short, Run with the Wind is about 10 college boys in a college dorm who kind of get roped up into a scheme by one of the guys, one of those runners, who wants to get all of them. Well, he's like, hey, you know why the dorm's so cheap? Because we're the track team, and now you're all going to be part of the track team.
Nice.
And so you're all going to run in the Hakone Ekiden Marathon, which is like a famous mountain marathon that they hold every year in Japan on New Year's Day. Well, for 2 days, but there's New Year's. Yeah. And so, like you said, it's a bunch of dudes who've never barely ran before, and 2 guys who actually ran. Yeah. So it's, for me, the draw is that it is a wonderful character drama. It balances comedy and the writing and the drama really well. Mm-hmm. It finds a way to kind of bounce around all of the 10 protagonists, more or less. I mean, there's one true protagonist who you kind of follow, but like the 10 main characters, I should say, on the team, their social struggles, their anxieties, how they related to running and racing, and what it means to them, their camaraderie, all of it is just balanced so well. The production is always on point with Production IG. The animation is fluid. It's amazing. They have mastered capturing human movement. I know they also did that ballroom anime. I digress, which I hear is also animated very well. But in a nutshell.
So this is kind of like the best of both worlds when you were talking about the sumo one, where it's like you still have the struggle of like not the main character, but the rest of the cast, along with the main character overcoming some of his own personal struggles.
Yeah, exactly. He does. And his biggest struggle is teamwork. Right. He's always been me run. He's never associated well with people, and he's forced to do that in this as much as he doesn't want to.
So when you combine that emotionality that you mentioned the sumo anime does, along with like actually like probably a lot better animation,
way better,
it's hard you probably get a much more high quality production, I assume. Like you guys seem to be much more,
I think that
heated
about this one. Run with the Wind, I think is even has better emotionality. Like it ends on an extremely emotional beat. Like when they're doing the race, all of them know they're not going to ever do this again. Nice. Like not only because some of them are graduating, but a lot of them have no interest in running after this. Yeah.
Some of the struggles they went through,
and some of them may not be able to run after this.
So definitely a high recommendation.
Oh, huge.
So if we can get to like the top recommendations of the year,
let's end on
we'll give one each so that we keep it.
So
okay,
if I was going to recommend an anime from winter, from my experience,
2019, shit,
it would be Run with the Wind. For me, nothing affected me more, nothing I appreciated more, nothing I think was animated as good. And again, I have not seen Mob Psycho.
No, that's fine.
So I shout outs to those people, but for me, Run with the Wind.
Honestly, I'm torn between a lot. But if I had to pick one excluding Run with the Wind, I think I would probably go with... Yeah, fuck. There's too many. Yeah, Promise. I have to go with Promise.
Promise Never Leaves.
I have to.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
For the reasons you explicitly stated earlier. Cool.
Yeah.
And for me, it's Kaguya. It's just a fun ride. Very simple, but honestly...
I feel like there were a lot of good ones this season.
There were a lot of good ones this season, but I think like simplicity is always my number one.
Sure.
Kaguya nails it perfectly. So yeah, that's winter 2019 in a nutshell, imperfectly encapsulated.
Yeah, you'll never get a better
by 3 people who have, 1 who's watched most and 2 who haven't.
Yeah. So if we missed,
why do you listen to us?
So if you made it here, thank you very much for listening. If we missed anything that you think is super notable about the anime we talked about, or an anime we did not talk about, shoot it down below. I'd love more opinions. We'd love more opinions about what happened in Winter 19 if you thought it was really good or even worse than we thought it was. Either or. Appreciate it. If you had fun, like. If you want more, subscribe. Ring that dingly bell. And yes, that's what we call it now. He was like...
The dingly bell.
The dingly bell. Okay. But as always, thank you for listening. Have a good day. Have a good life. We will see you next time.